Welcome to Muddled Minds, where if our minds aren't already muddled, they will probably be after watching my episodes. So, recently I seen something about turtles. You know, who doesn't love a turtle? I mean, a turtle. I've always loved turtles. I've never actually had a pet turtle, but you know, I've played with turtles. You can find them by the river, the lake, or whatever. Although I usually caught snakes a lot more than turtles, but you know, snakes would always bite. Turtles are more friendlier than that. But turtles, they have that hard outer shell, a little bit of a shell on their belly. It's a little bit softer though, and then the hard shell that's on their back. Now, the main reason for that shell, obviously, a lot of people believe was before defense, but actually, they found out that the reason why a turtle has that shell is because it evolved into a harder, wider structure because the species 200 million years ago, well, to like 250 million years ago, needed to be a better digger, a better burrower. And in order to dig better, it was easier to have its ribs flared out more and made it more efficient at digging. And these ribs being flared out eventually fused together over, you know, a good 40 million years or so. And then that allowed them to basically have their undershell, and then the top ones expanded out, fused together, and then even forward, and then eventually we formed a full shell. And so turtles have a shell, but not for the reason why you may think. In fact, their shell was just for to help them dig, even though a lot of turtles today are water. I mean, a turtle we usually think is water, and obviously a tortoise, which is more land, which would be more of the burrow and stuff, but to me, a turtle's a turtle, and a tortoise is a turtle. But obviously, somebody that's a little more technical might get a little picky about that. I'm not going to worry about it. When I say turtle, I'm kind of both referring to both land and water versions of turtle. Even though one's a tortoise. They're basically from the same genome, if you go back far enough, just like a lot of species. So essentially, turtles are kind of like birds, you know, in the sense that birds got feathers, not for flight, but for other reasons, protection and stuff, and eventually led to them being able to fly. Turtles, on the other hand, their shells started forming because they needed to be able to dig better, and then they were able to, well, be protected from predators from eating them, and that allowed them to survive 3 mass extinctions, including one of them that actually killed 90% of the species on the planet, and eventually to evolve into the turtles and tortoises that we know today. So, interesting fact. Thanks for watching. Catch another one sometime.